Okay, well, now we're recording. So all of you in the room heard the first part of this talk. And the folks are going to look at it on the internet next time. Well, you'll have to wonder what I talked about first. We're talking about the 4 stages of spiritual maturity, taught primarily from my indication through Michael Beckwith. And the fact that we are being, in that first stage, we are in the victimhood stage, where life happens to me. And I'm not to blame, everybody else is to blame. I am not taking responsibility for my life. Our topic today is free to be responsible. And in that victim stage, again, like I said, it'll come back around to us. We don't check it off and be done with it. At one point or another, all of us are challenged to be the victim once again, for whatever reason. And you'll know that you're doing it when you say things like, well, the devil made me do it. Or some people think, if they're in the victim stage, God has it out for me. Or it's just too good. Something's going to happen. Something's wrong's going to happen because life is too good. All of those negative things we find ourselves in when we're in the victim stage. And what we want to recognize is that there is, when we got into this teaching many years ago, there is one power and one presence, and it is God. It is love. It is beautiful. It is infinite being. And we are it. It is us. We don't have to go anywhere to find it. It's right here within us. So when God is in control, what does that mean? God, this God self that we are, is in control. Spirit is the ultimate authority. We are the ultimate authority to our lives. We are responsible for our lives. Everything is God in expression. Everything is expressing God. So when I got into this teaching of religious science, I really gravitated toward the way that we pray. We call it a treatment. And it's a 5-step treatment where we first of all acknowledge that all there is God. And then we think about and we meditate on and we feel that beautiful energy and essence of what is God. It is love. It is joy. It is infinite. It is peace. All of that. And then the second step in our prayer treatment is the fact that we unify with it. It's unification. That is me. If that God is all there is, that means that's what I am. At my core, that's what I am, and I unite with that, and I recognize that's what I am. I am that love. I am that joy. I am that peace. And then our third step is our manifestation, or our recognition of what it is do I want to bring in my life. And so it equates quite a bit to these 4 stages of spiritual maturity. The first stage is victim, right? That's the first one I've noticed. The second one, though, is the manifester stage. The second one says, okay, I've decided that I'm going to be responsible for my life. Yes, there is one God, one energy, one presence, and it's living through me right now. What do I want? What do I want to manifest in my life? And we take that determination and we state our claim, and we claim that in step 3 in the treatment. But as the manifester in the second level of spiritual maturity, that's what we're doing. When we graduate, so to speak, mentally wise, from one level of spiritual maturity to the next, what we're doing is we're giving up something. We always have to give up something, and we're giving up, when we go to the second level, we're giving up shame and blame of ourselves and blame of others. We're giving that up so that we can move to the second level, the higher level of this manifester. And we're like, hey, you know what? I have control of my thoughts. I have control of my thinking. I can make a vision board, or I can, do what I want to do in my life. How's it going to look? I'm responsible. And we feel great about it. We feel in control. And it's wonderful. I had a friend of mine, an old friend, gosh, I haven't seen her in a long time. She stopped by the house the other day to drop off something. and she had not been to my home before. And she first, as she was just approaching the door, she was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this." And then when she came in and she saw the view, she said, "Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at what you've manifested." Because she had taken our teachings many years ago. And I said, "Yeah, before I moved here, I kind of made my list of what it is I wanted. And one of the first things on the top of the list was a view." And so we like being able to have what we want in life. That's one of the reasons why people are drawn to our teachings. But then there's a third level of spiritual maturity, where again, in order to move up to every level, you have to release something. You have to let go of something. And in that moving up into the third level, you have to release control. You have to release having it necessarily your way. I brought my little cheat sheet, I suppose, of the 4 stages. The first one is you're the victim and how life is happening to me. The second one is the law, where we place our thought into the law, we place our desire into the law, and it reflects back. The first one is no will. I have no will. The second one is my will. Hey, I'm happy with that, right? But in order to move up to the third level, which is through me, being the vessel, being the vehicle through which this infinite being moves, we have to give up control. We have to give up that individual power, you see. And then the 4th stage is as me. We are one, we're united. There is no division. We are absolute one with God. There's a bit of a nuance between the 3rd and 4th stages. The 3rd stage is you're the vessel. You're allowing this movement of energy to come through you. And in the 4th stage, there is no question. There is not even a thought that I wonder what. You are this energy and essence in expression. So we always have to give up something. We always have to let go of the lesser. And mainly what that is are our belief systems that we've come up with as we've grown up through the levels of our aging and our life that we've lived, that we've come up with these thoughts that are limiting to us, that we question ourselves. And we have to let those go, continually let those go in order to be teachable, in order to be available, in order to let this energy that is full and beautiful and wanting to give of itself, let it be through us, to give through us. So as we look at the circumstances in our lives, they are telling. The circumstances in our lives give us, just like where I'm living, okay? That's a circumstance in my life where I believe that my divine energy was working for my highest and best good. Other times, though, we look at our lives and we think, how did I manifest this? How did this come to me? This is not, what I would have chosen to have. This isn't my preference. How did I do this? And the first thing we have to do, and that's wonderful, that we ask, that we're aware. That, well, this isn't fun. This isn't what I wanted. When you're aware that there's something in your life that's kind of poking you, giving you a little bit of angst, that's the opportunity to look at it. Not to run away from it, not to hide it under the carpet. It's the opportunity to look at it and see, where is it that I can grow through this? Because there is something within me that is greater than anything on the outside. Let me pull it up. Let me bring it up. Let me allow it to respond to this situation that I have. James Allen said, all failures are apparent, not real. Every slip, every fall, every return to selfishness is a lesson learned, an experience gained, from which a golden thread of wisdom is extracted. If we take the opportunity to learn the lesson, to be able to make lemonade out of lemons, to find out how can I make this situation better. We are talking today about this whole month, we are free to. Very important that I did not say we are free from. To me, there's an amazing amount of difference, because we are free to, open-ended. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, said that our teaching is open at the top. And that means that it's infinite. There is no limit to it whatsoever. And so we are free to do whatever. So this teaching has no dogma. It has no stagnation to it. It's always going to change, always going to evolve, just like our nation is. Right now, we're going through some growing pains. There are some things coming up for us that are kind of slapping us in the face, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be aware of what's probably been under the surface for quite a while. To let that be released, to let that be recognized. Somebody posted on Facebook this last week a picture of the Last Supper, and it said, this is probably the more accurate description of what the Last Supper would look like, and of course all the people at the table had darkened skin. How true. How true. So it's an evolvement of our nation that I'm still honored to be here, to be living in the USA. Yesterday I was cooking and doing some stuff in the morning, and so I said, hey Google, play patriotic songs, and heard some great ones. So a lot of country songs actually are patriotic in that regard. And so when we are moving ourselves up this ladder of spiritual maturity, I think first of all it takes intention. It takes wanting to do it. It takes wanting to let go of being a victim, of blaming someone else. It takes wanting to be available to have this spirit that's infinite move through us and let go of the control that we thought we would have. Dane Stauffer said, God gives you the dots. Connecting them is up to you. We have everything within us that we need, but we are the ones to decide how we're going to use these gifts that Spirit has given us. We're the ones that need to connect the dots and live our lives being the best and the most wonderful expression of the divine that we can. There was a nurse in a pediatric ward. She said before listening to the little ones' chests, she would plug the stethoscope into their ears and let them listen to their own hearts. Their eyes would always light up with awe. But she never got a response to equal 4-year-old David's. She placed the disc on David's heart. Listen, she said, what do you suppose that is? He drew his eyebrows into a puzzled line and looked up as if he had wondered, what is the mystery of that strange tapping? Tap, tap, tapping, deep in his chest. Then his face broke out in a wondrous grin, and he asked, "Is that God knocking?" How wonderful. How wonderful to think that with every beat of my heart, God is knocking. Am I going to answer the call? Am I going to open the door to my heart and see what awaits me? To know that I am ready for it. To know that I'm ready for whatever venture might be awaiting me. To allow this divine spirit that is infinite to flow through me. Am I ready to take the responsibility to be open to spirit, to live my life? Am I ready to be responsible to connect the dots, to open the door, to let spirit flow through me? As I said, this nation is going through quite a bit of things right now. Well, the whole world is obviously in an upheaval of things. But I still think that our nation was divinely guided by a providence, that the forefathers who started this nation believed in God. They believed in a divinity. And they wrote that within the first paragraph of our Declaration of Independence, that this is a nation under God. And I think that's amazing. I think that's fabulous. And I want us to keep that more than ever. I want us to know that we are ready and able to respond to all of the upheaval, whatever's going on, that there is within each and every one of us something that will bring forth the ultimate good, the ultimate betterment from all of this. So I wanted to close today with a song that I've been missing, because on every Sunday afternoon, if the Padres are playing, they play this in the 7th inning instead of the 7th inning stretch. And I always get so teary. I hope I can sing this. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Bless you. Namaste.